already. This is my audience. All right. Thank you both for joining me here this evening. I come to talk to you about a topic that I found to be disturbing while I was doing research for another paper. I ran across some numbers that actually alarmed me. And the topic that I'd like to discuss today is abortion. Abortion as a society impacts everyone. And it also impacts the person who has the abortion in many negative ways. It's been considered a way that we can avoid responsibility as a whole for the life that was created. And many times it is a lot of factors that we're considering when we're avoiding that particular responsibility. We could be avoiding or considering the fact that the age is not appropriate. You may be too young or too old. You may not have enough money to take care of a child. You may think that you're physically, emotionally, or spiritually not responsible or ready for a child yet. But I would like to have you consider one thing, that it takes millions of sperm to be released, and only one sperm reaches that egg. So the conception of a child in the womb is actually a miraculous process in and of itself. And according to the word, God says that he knows us all before he forms us in our mother's womb. So even prior to the fact of us being conceived in the womb, God has already purposed and planned something for our lives, and he allows that conception. Now, I'd like you to take a moment, if you would, to look over your life, your individual lives, and all of the people that you've met in your life, all of the jobs that you've worked, all of the relationships that were formed, and those that remain and those that are no longer there. If you weren't here today, then all of those lives would have been a little bit emptier because you weren't here. So even if your purpose is small in the big scale of things, it's still a purpose for your creation. Now, here's another way I like you to look at it. You all are sitting on a lovely sofa watching a lovely television. Someone was created just for that purpose, to make that sofa or the television that you enjoy. And so when we cut a life short in the womb, we're actually cutting short a purpose that may have benefited everyone. Now, I can tell you, I have personally been affected by abortion in my life, and it gave me a little bit of issues when it happened. Thanks be to God, those are all taken care of now. Now, here's my statement here that says that life is precious to God. All forms of life are precious to God, not only human life. And he demonstrated that while we were yet sinners, he gave his son to die for us. And then he also reiterates it or stated it in advance when he said, "Thou shalt not kill." Now, abortion is usually considered in the context of your circle. You know, when somebody finds out that they're pregnant, it's usually a husband and a wife, or a child and a parent, or a girlfriend and a boyfriend. So you think in context of your circle. However, millions of abortions happen each year. Psychologically, abortions have negative effects on individuals, and that also will impact society. So you see, it impacts society in many ways. And I've stated that we as a whole miss the purpose or the plan for that individual's life. Now, going back to abortion, which is usually considered in your smaller circle, pregnancy under the right circumstances is a very joyful event. Most people are thrilled to have a child come into their life. But sometimes it can be a monkey wrench in your plan. Now, relationships, we think about finances. These are all factors that usually come to mind when abortion is considered. Am I going to continue in this relationship, or am I not going to be in this relationship anymore? Well, here's one thing that I'd like you to consider as well. Between 2000 and 2008, there was an average of 1.25 million lives that were aborted. California being the highest, 219,560 abortions in California alone. New York averaged 157,900 abortions. Maryland's in the middle with 35,480 abortions. Those numbers actually were tripled if it was an unmarried couple. So I like to think that perhaps abstinence or more education on more a better quality of education for sexual activity should be introduced to our youth, because again, the unmarried had the highest abortion rate. Now, psychologically, abortions have an adverse effect on individuals. That ultimately affects society as well. It says that depression and anxiety are two byproducts of abortion. And it's stated here, according to Makova, that 42% of individuals have major depression, 39% have anxiety disorders, and 27% entertain suicide as a result of abortion. And that's more over than a regular miscarriage, because the miscarriage doesn't carry the same guilt and shame that an abortion does. Long-term effects of abortion are included but not limited to drug abuse, sexual dysfunction, shame and guilt from going against one's own conscience, dysfunction in personal relationships, infertility, desire to get pregnant immediately after abortion, trouble bonding with other children after the abortion, and also, this is one that I did not even know until doing this research, is that breast cancer can be associated with abortion as well. Now, we talked about society as a whole missing a purpose or plan for that individual. If you take a look at the handouts that I gave you earlier, if you take a look at these handouts here that I gave you, I thought these were really neat, because this says, on this day in history, it's the day that you were born. Pop, yours is a little off, so I'm sorry. But if you take a look at this, you can see how much life has changed, because you see prices there for the day that you were born. The year that I was born, Nixon was president. Spiro Agnew was vice president. The best picture was The Godfather. The best actor was Marlon Brando. Liza Minnelli was the best actress. And that's just to name a few of the things that happened on the day that I was born. Had those people not been allowed to come into this world, then we would not have enjoyed the benefits of the things that they brought into this world. So that's what those handouts are for, there for you. Now, I also would like to suggest some alternatives to abortion. Adoption is a good option for abortion, because there are families out there who cannot have children and they want children, and they are willing to adopt. There are numerous websites available, numerous organizations available that would actually be willing to help you to find a good home for a child if you find yourself in a situation where you're not able to take care of that child. And then I also wanted to let you know that there are also organizations that will help you if you've packed away psychological scars or emotional ills or anything like that that are as a direct result of the abortion that you've had. There are places out there that will help you work through those issues as well. I found one online, and I think it was the Voices of Women in Mourning. So, in closing, I would like to hope that because of what you heard today, you may reconsider abortion in the future or recommending abortion to any of your friends and family members, recalling that millions of lives have been lost as a result of abortion alone in this world. He created us, God, with a unique design and a purpose. And not only does that design benefit that person, but it also benefits us. Just think about anytime you walk into a store, you're shopping from something that somebody else created. Now, remember also, please, that God values life, human and otherwise. He did command, thou shalt not kill, and he also gave his son for us so that we could have eternal life. Therefore, I now hope that you can see abortion on a broader scale as opposed to a small circle occurrence, and consider adoption as an alternative to abortion. And if you have an abortion or an unwanted pregnancy, please talk to somebody about it, because you're not out there by yourself. Others have experienced it and they know how to help. And I want to thank you all for joining me today. Thank you. next